Sopko. And Jeremy, not too long ago, left a pretty bad situation and grabbed a few people, grabbed a fish tank, and built an entire company, over 700 people. And he did it by being the opposite of everyone else. So if you're someone that finds yourself zigging when other people zag, if you are tired of the same rehashed, rechewed leadership advice, you came to the right episode. I've got with me the guy that is the maestro of this, Jeremy Sopko. Welcome to Leadership Live.
Thanks, Cindy. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm humbled to be one of your guests. Thank you.
Man, we're super pumped. Before we get going, you're kind of a guy that likes to hide in the shadows a little bit, so the world probably doesn't all know who you are. If you were to do, like, I guess it's the whole party intro, who are you? What do you do? Tell us a little bit about that, Jeremy.
Jeremy Sopko, co-founder, CEO of Nations Lending Corporation. Started the company back in '03 with a partner of mine. You said it, Donnie. We kind of stay in the shadows. We're quiet. We mind our own business, and we built this company, my partner and I, after 5 years of being in the business and just seeing the horror of 5 different owner operators, how they treated employees, how they looked at the customers. It was 5 chapters in a really bad book, the same book. It's just 5 really bad chapters. And we decided we were going to rewrite that. And we love the business. We love the people that we brought into the business that followed us. And we were at a turning point. We were either going to leave it, something that we loved, or we were going to start something that had a real foundation around the people that we have, and the people that we wanted to bring in, the family we wanted to create. So, yeah, 20 some years now later, 23 years later, loving the spot I'm in now, loving the people that I've put around me and that I've entrusted, and really taking a different look over the last couple of years of how to lead and really finding what it really means to be a leader. You do things for so many years and you kind of like without purpose, it just happens. You're going the right direction. And I think over the last couple of years, everything that the company is doing and the way I'm structuring the leadership team, we're all rowing in the same way, and our purpose is together and our foundation is really, really solid. So, and a lot of it, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know I needed you until you appeared. I mean, I had no clue. I never had a coach. And all of a sudden I meet you at that convention and we clicked. And you brought me into your life and I brought you mine. And I tell you what, that was a moment to help my flow, to help the direction I was going in. And it's been great. I mean, think about it. We're a year and 4 or 5 months into it. And I look forward to every Monday morning with you.
Ah, well,
It's been what's
I love hanging out with you as well, Jeremy. I wanted some of the leaders, you kind of took us to two places, and we're going to visit both of those because I think, Jeremy, for the leaders that are listening, we have a lot of people who are looking at like that place of change. They're maybe in the place of, I don't want to say it's dark, but for some people, they feel the darkness, they feel the pressure. And the truth is sometimes maybe that's a signal for them to get out. Sometimes it just means they need to change and they need to make something different. But I want to see if you can take us to maybe some of the darkness of what you were experiencing, and how did you know that this is where we should stay versus like just jumping into something completely different. And I guess I'm curious because it's real easy, Jeremy, for us to turn angst into rebellion because we're fighting against something. But really what you did was you made a revolution where you actually created something. You didn't just create chaos, you created a company.
You get to a point, I think, where a lot of us leaders and a lot of, whether you're a top producer or, you get to a level where you really understand the confidence you have in yourself. And you have faith that if this was yours, if this was your company, you would
You do it
succeed.
different.
And my partner and I, when we first started the company, I have the notes from it. We built the company just around him and I. We said if no one was to follow us, could we succeed? And we wrote it all. We wrote all these things on paper, and we told, I think, 3 people that we were leaving, and they all wanted to come on board. And from there, I think the trials, the successes we had, the ideas that I was able to come to fruition, and the marketing that was going on, and just how I was building a team. We were building a team inside of a company. We were building top producers and our own, my partners and I own production while we're managing. I'm managing 30, 40 people. I'm managing processing. I'm managing call center. We were still the top producers. So I'm building this machine here, and it's really functioning really well. And you come to realize through those trials and tribulations, you're like, man, if this was ours, even though we've had failures and successes, we make it. You get that confidence, right? And just remember the day where the decision was made. We were in a room with a lot of high execs from Countrywide, and I will make sure there's no reason to name names. And ownership of mine's there, and some other people are there. And I just remember the words that the owner was using towards Countrywide. I remember just feeling like it made me sick to my stomach, how he was
What
treating.
words? What words do you remember?
He was calling it that underwriter. If that effing underwriter ever touches another one of my files, she's gone. If that explicit language, and I'm not, and I'm trying to hold back. It was disgusting. And I have one of my key partners from Countrywide who's my account rep. He's like staring at me, and I'm staring at him like we're deer in headlights. We're like, well, this is terrible. And I walked out with him, and he looked at me and he said, "When you leaving?" It's the first thing he said to me, "When you leaving?" And I said, "It's going to be soon." He's like, "Your application is going to be sitting at your house." He goes, "You're going to be approved immediately when you start up with Countrywide." He goes, we know how you guys run. Your business is clean, and we'll make sure you're up and running." And I went back home, talked to my partner. We devised, we came up with this as an idea, what we're going to do. We went back and gave our owner one last shot. We sat down with him and said, "Hey, we have to talk to you." Sat in a meeting. He listened to us, and he's like, "I got a surprise for you guys." So we are in this meeting, Donnie, where we're like, "Hey, we're out unless this changes."
Right? And here's a surprise, right?
Puts us in his truck and shows us his foundation of his $1.5 million house he's building.
Surprise.
I looked at my partner. We looked at each other, and we're like, "Let's get back to work." We're like, "I'm sorry, good, like, hey, happy for you, but like, we're gonna go back to work." And it was that moment, we're just like, nah. Like, we didn't mind being mistreated. We could take it. We were in the business for 5 years.
Sure.
We've seen how managers were, how owners were. We took the good, left the bad. So we were around it. But the people that trusted us, the people that came with us, our friends and family, and people that we go, just that we accumulated over the years, the way they were treated, like, that's where we drew the line. Like,
Mm,
okay, we can take the punches, right?
we
Like,
could do it, but not for them.
but man, when you're going that deep on people we love, we care for, that reflects, right? That's a direct reflection on us, and like who we are, and we got to get them out of here. So, we built it off that, and we said, we're going to build this foundation around our people.
Mm.
We're going to build this foundation around treating others how you want to be treated, being open and honest with each other, having crucial conversations, um, you know, and you look back on 2003, I'm 27 years old. I don't know how to run a business, you know, and you realize You get thrown in the fire and you learn things really quickly. And it was a lot of fun when you look back on the what you created with 9 people, up to 700 and some people a day, and still around through, the '07, '08, '09 crash, when you're
Mm.
watching Explodometer and all the companies that are falling, and you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
I, Jeremy, there's something, well, I keep this around, and this is, I don't know if you can remember this little guy, right? This is
I have mine.
it's the cone from a redwood tree for those of you who haven't had the privilege and honor of doing that. But Jeremy, it's interesting because you sometimes it matters not like what type of seed you are, but where you're planted. And you guys realize like this is not an environment where we're going to thrive. And you figure that out. And sometimes you got to go create that for yourself. But I love that litmus test, the conviction thing of saying, hey, if no one follows us, can we can we succeed? Will we do this anyway? And I would say, great question for the leader who's looking to go to another team, or for the person who's looking to change jobs or anything. Is like, even if no one else goes with it, if no one else believes what I'm doing, can I can I step into this? And you guys did this. There are two things. This isn't like this is just really different. Whenever if you look at the scope of other companies, and so you said you brought along a collection of friends and family with you. You have that, and then you have something that I fought with you about for a while until I surrendered and realized it was just not worth fighting because it's in your DNA. It was what I'm going to call open door leadership.
Remember this. Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit though about like how that's worked for you and how you've been able to build your band with people that actually like you still eat Thanksgiving turkey with and they still want to eat with you? How do you build that? Like what are the
So,
dangers?
so I remember the exercise, or what you sent me, and like narrow down who gets let in, right? You
Who gets
have
your door? Yeah.
12 apostles or 11, you have that, and that's like you surround yourself. And I remember the day, and I'm reading it, I'm like, no, that's not me. And I called you and we're talking about it. I'm like, Donnie, I give my phone number out to every single employee, and you're just like, how do you have the time? Like from your seat, it's like, how do you have the time? And in my end is like, that's my job. Like, I have to have the time for every single person. They have to know I'm reachable, and there's not this, I got to call so and so to call so and so to call so and so to call so and so. And all of a sudden I get a message, 3, 4 weeks later, or whatever it is. Or maybe the problem doesn't get solved here, right? It gets stuck and no one answers. So I like hearing from the field. Those are the people on the front lines. Those are the people who know what's going on in their communities, in their regions, with their referral partners, how the business is being handled in the area. And if I don't know what's going on there, and I can't make nations better for them, and I can't go to my leaders and say, I'm listening. We all need to listen. We invested in them, bringing them over. They took the leap of faith to come to nations. We don't want this to be a jumping, they came here, bad experience, they leave. So I think by just being open, Donnie, and by allowing them to know they have access to me, and knowing that, like, I hear it, oh, you're a real person. Like when I went out to St. Louis to meet with, one of my branch managers, his whole team. Oh my gosh, you're like, it's your real. You don't sit there as a CEO like thinking that, but the employees do. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, man, he's here. And then when you get into a meeting and you get to talk to them, they realize he's like one of us. Like,
Yeah.
and
I
I think that's what works, Donnie. It's like they feel that, and they know somebody who cares is with them.
I would say that's one of the hallmarks that I've seen, Jeremy. It's like there are so many like listen, productivity coaches, right? We're guilty of sometimes worshiping at the altar of scalable. And sometimes like and this is what I'm saying. Some of you like some of if you're someone that's been guilted for the open door, that could actually be your unfair advantage. And sometimes the truth is you do for the one what you wish you could do for the many, or sometimes what you do shouldn't be scalable. that sometimes is what makes you unique in what makes you you. And it's funny, you were the very few people would kick back on that, because I think we all feel overwhelmed sometimes, and we see sometimes we can feel like people are the problem. But you're saying, no, 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 people are the solution. Like that's like,
So you, all right, so you just, you bring up something here. And had I not, had we not empowered, given permission to my leaders, right, giving them the authority, giving them the true ability to say, hey, this is my decision. I don't have to take it and be, and Jeremy, you sign off on this. Like, if you're not allowing them to have permission, if you're not allowing them to grow, make mistakes, are they going to make a mistake? Yeah, but they better. Like if they're not trying, right? If they're not making mistakes, they're probably not pushing themselves or thinking about a new idea and seeing if it works. If it doesn't, oh, I'm going to tweak that idea because it's working here. So when I completed the executive team, and when Bill and I let go, because Donnie, we trust me, we said, hey, we got in a meeting in 2011. I said, Bill, we're wearing way too many hats. I got 5 hats, you got 5 hats. I said, if this thing goes anywhere, it's going to be because we're bringing in people that are smarter than us, and we're going to get out of their way. Well, we brought them in, but it took a while for us to get out of their way. And it took a while for me to understand I'm limiting them and their abilities and their thought process and their genius and their minds if I
mm,
don't get their way. And if I'm dictating or leading, and pushing down this and controlling, no, 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 do, instead of saying, hey, what do you need? I'm gonna help build you up. I'm gonna be here, right? And I'm here for ideas. I'm here to listen to your idea and add my to it if I got the knowledge. Or, hey, I've been there. You may want to watch. Hey, just be aware. Love where you're going. Man, when we got out of the way, Donnie, it frees up your time to say, hey, anybody can call me. It frees up your time to say, I'm here for all of you. If you're, are you a telemarketer?
mm.
Are you a top LO? Are you the secretary? Every one of them in this family, in this, I call it an organism, not an organization, organism. This thing has to work all together.
Hmm.
And when it's all working together, I'm freeing up myself up here to just be able to have access to them. Because Donnie, when you listen to the people, the answers are right there. They have them all. They have so many great ideas. They're just looking to get out there. And maybe somebody didn't listen to them in the past. Maybe that's why they're here with us. And it attracts me to ideas, and it attracts me to different, thoughts and the way others look at things, because I know I'm not always right. And I think I learn more from them than they learn from me. No matter how many times I speak or, you know, come up with a overall yearly plan, that feedback from them is gold. Like,
I, I love it.
absolutely, that's what fires me to be a leader. That's what gives me this, like, love that. Let's like, now I'm giving them this, like, yes, confidence, like, let's go. And they're like, well, really? He's telling me go, and I'm like, let's go. Take a chance.
It's
What are you going to lose, right? Like, if you're not taking chances and you're not trying and you're not, you're just not putting yourself out there, I don't know if you can get very far, honestly. You got to get outside of your comfort zone and run into the fear instead of away from the fear. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I want to. I have a question on that one. And we're, by the way, just the beauty of trust from a leader to the people he's leading, and vice versa. Like you, like that's the open door. You probably your door would be a barn door. If I could imagine the door that's in front of you, it would be the size of a barn door. Anyone can walk through it at any time. And I want to get into the place to where we're talking about like how you've freed your people up to flow. But before we do that, Jerry, you said you just mentioned something, and I'm not gonna go past it because you said you wear a lot of hats. You'd wear a lot of hats. we always see you like in sweats and a hat. What, you're not wearing a a three-piece suit. You're not dressed like Jordan Peterson. What's the hat? What's that about, Jer?
Okay, COVID. I mean, I used to go in with, the three-piece suit, big tie under my, the vest. And you sit there and, COVID hits and everybody's got more relaxed feel. And I just felt like I wanted to be myself. And when people saw me like this and the confidence I have, and, like when I go out and I'm at a dinner with somebody, of course I'm putting on a attire. But, I want people to be comfortable where they're at. You're working at a desk all day. You're behind the scenes. Um, and just be comfortable. So for me, this is me. Like I walk out of the house, my wife sometimes says, "You're wearing that?" And I said, if people are going to look at me or judge me for what I'm wearing, I'm like, that's their fault, not mine. You know, the minute I say hi to them or smile, it changes things. But yeah, I like just being relaxed because if I'm relaxed, I know my mind is sitting there out there and flowing. So
You don't have to think about everything when, like, it's just one less thing to have to concentrate and worry about. Yeah, I think actually the place where we met was an event and we were the only two people wearing hoodies. Everyone else was doing other things.
I had
But
I had my semi my what came in style then was the jacket, the dress jacket, but that had the hood on it, right? So
yep,
it was kind of like business, but
yeah,
hey,
little Mr. Beast kind of going. I'm what you're wearing right now. We're going to get into that courage and that fearlessness. You're wearing a sweatshirt that says Navy across the chest, and I wonder if you could share a little bit of that story with us because I know you're bringing that in as like there's a part of you that's there. That's not a random thing.
yeah, hold on. Yeah. So I haven't taken this shirt off since Saturday.
Why is that?
So I get a text message Saturday morning, 9:30, woke up. My business partner sends me a text and he's like, "Hey, the war going off. How's Ashton?" I'm like, "What?" I was I had no clue that it started overnight. And all I knew was in October, my son is stationed out in one of the bases in the Middle East, and I call him up, and 2 weeks ago he's like, "Yeah, we're ready for evac. We're a lot more prepared than we were in October." Okay, good. I was assuming that Saturday morning he's gone. Come to find out, he's one of 50 people left there. And they was like
What's he
heart.
doing? What's he doing there?
So I can only say so much of what he's doing there, but he's saving lives, defending. I had no clue what he was doing there until he was telling me stories, and I was nervous for him. You got a 21-year-old kid there that I think is, going through seeing missiles fly by, seeing buildings blow up. I'm 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 thinking he's in fear, so I'm feeling his fear for my
Hmm.
boy, and I can't get that fear out of me. And I'm trying to figure like, if this is him right now, I can only imagine what he's going through. So I go through all day Sunday not hearing from him. And I'm just, I'm in a bad spot at this time. And my daughter, my wife, we finally told my youngest daughter, hey, here, Ashton's here and he's okay. Well, she texts him. And mind you, I haven't heard from him all day. So she texted him and we're sitting there watching something. And she's like, oh, Ashton just texted me. He responded. He's good. My wife and I look at each other like we've been. So, I talked to him the next morning. And when I talked to him and he said, Dad, this is why I joined the Navy. I joined to save lives. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And when I saw him not have fear, And when I saw him saying, I'm taking this 12-hour shift, and him going in with confidence and him going in saying, hey, I know what my mission is. I said, damn, boy, like, I'm proud of you. And that moment took my anxiety and my fear away. And put me in a space where I could be, the best for myself, for my family, and, obviously for the people that are following me here with nations. And man, his confidence just gave me confidence. Like I felt it. I just felt it. And it was so strange because then he calls me. He's supposed to be off. His last day was supposed to be yesterday, and he was supposed to be off to the 7th. And then he texts me tonight. He's like, "Yeah, I took on 3 more shifts." He's like, one of the guys kind of, I don't know what he did, but he's like, "I can't make it in," which I don't know. That's another story. And Ashton goes to his CO and says, "Hey, so and so can't come in." She's like, "All right, I'm gonna give you a placement." Ashton's like, "I want it." And then he tells me today, "Dad, I don't want the night shift anymore. I want the day shift. There's more action. I want it. I want it." He's running not from the fear, Donnie. He's inviting it and he's going for it. Like, and that was just an amazing, amazing, proud moment for me. No matter how nervous I am for my son, I just know what he's doing is his
Hmm.
purpose. I know what he's doing. This is what he wants. And I like I said, since Saturday, I took this off one time to wash it, and when I did, I put on the actual
Oh, the other
t-shirt
one.
he gave me. I'm like, no, I'm flipping. So I learned
It's
from him and he learned from me. I mean, he's seen what what my fearlessness, my father's fearlessness, and he just he just had that. And as
well, it's
and he's
I'm
he's grown in like 3 years, like from a baby to like this man, and you just watch it, and it's amazing.
one of my favorite things to watch, Jeremy, is to watch. I think all the leaders that are on Leadership Live can, like, if you're even leading one person, but when you watch, like, when you're able to draw from the person you're leading or mentoring or whatever, as much as they're drawing from you, when you have the open door that swings both ways. But like what I watch is, and I see, like, in front of my very eyes, is like the confidence that comes when you know your mission. And it reminds me sometimes of the people that maybe we see twisting out there, and people who feel like flat, or they're doom scrolling, or and like do you think the reality is in some cases maybe they're just not crystal clear on a mission that's driving for them?
I think they're stuck in a moment. I think they're not crystal clear, but I also think they get um their actions and what they're doing at that moment, like going down these rabbit holes, and right, that is their life now. That is what they're doing. They get caught in this. And all it takes sometimes is, you can get caught in a lot of moments. Like you can get caught. I had a friend of mine, mom passed, broke his shoulder, just was going through a rough period.
Hmm.
Break up with a 12-year relationship. And a good friend of mine, and he works with us. And I said, "Hey, you're coming over. You're gonna sit here with me, and you're coming over." And we sat for 2 hours. I go, "We're gonna rebuild you. There's like I know who you are. You just don't know who you just can't see it right now. You're
Wow.
stuck in a moment. You are literally stuck and trapped. Your mind's just stuck in this moment. I'm gonna help you get out of that moment. I'm gonna remind you who you really are, who you were. And I'm gonna tell you, hey, this I call it, I'm gonna say Banco 2.0 version. I go, there's a second version of you that's better than the version you were when I first met you and everything you have." And that moment, we went over all of the gap, all the things he's missing and not having, and all the, wallowing and all this. And I said, "But Mike, here's your gain. Here's who you are. And here's what here, look, look. Like you're living here, but I see you here. And
Mm.
I know you can be here." I mean, within 6 months, he texts me up, Banco 2.0. Thank you. It's like 2.0. And I keep on hearing it. And now I see him smiling. Now he's out there kicking ass. And I'm like, and he looks at me and he goes, thanks. Look, I didn't do anything. I just set him down. We just talked. I didn't do anything besides give him confidence in who he really was and who I believed he really was. And I think as a leader, like the one thing I post to my leadership group, there's so many cool little things out there, which Dan Martell. I don't know if you guys know Dan Martell's story. If you don't know Dan Martell's story, he's got a really cool 2-minute Instagram segment. Going from a juvie prison, nothing, to a guard saying, boy, why are you here? You're better than this. Like the guard gave him something, confidence, and saying, hey, this is not your purpose, this isn't where you're supposed to be. That one person was the catalyst for his life. So as a leader, you could be that one person, that catalyst. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody in business. It doesn't matter like where they're. That could be in your family. It could be your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad. It could be aunt, uncle. It could be your business partner. It could be anyone. If
Mhm.
you are that catalyst, if you give somebody that little nudge, that little damn belief, man, all they need is one person to believe in them. And that is their fuel, that is their fire, that is their spark. And you realize that, and that's one thing I take note of is how many sparks have I lit just through conversation, through listening, through getting to know who they are, knowing their, the journey, knowing the bottom that they hit or knowing the things they had to overcome. And I can just talk to them about that. And I can just, you know, make them see through my words and my energy what can be, what is possible. You know, you take them out of that spiral. So that's
Yeah.
all that is. They're just in this. They just got to see out of this, and it's foggy, and it's they're here, and it becomes them, and they get so succumbed by it, and they just get they can't get out. You just pop it.
There's so many of us, Jeremy. You're talking about. It's funny, by the way. A lot of us, I'm talking to some leaders out there that would be the catalysts, but they're looking at the bombs going off all around them. And sorry about the camera there. I did leave you. They're looking at the bombs going off all around them. And when you have those things happening, it can be challenging to say, well, like I would do that if this was like this for me. And I think they think almost like they have to do all the work. But Jeremy, you're only providing spark for people. You're only starting the fire, right? They're the ones that are carrying it.
How many leaders? This is really interesting. How many leaders in mortgage space, other spaces out there? COVID hits. No one's coming out and pushing their troops. August of 2022, when our industry, the faucet shut off. Business was We had 5 years worth of business in like a year and a half, 2 years, or whatever it was. And then the faucet turns off. And all the leaders do what? All the issues, all the problems come up, everything comes up.
Hmm.
They're not here, they're not heard from.
They hide.
Now they hide. Now I didn't know this. I don't go on social, I don't follow other leaders. I just am not like that. But I was told when we're recruiting in like other people, or you're hearing like, man, I haven't heard from the CEO in a year. He hasn't been out. I haven't heard from this. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, well, yeah, well, then you can't have confidence in what's going on. Like if they're not coming out and speaking and they're not saying, hey, we got this, and they're not pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and saying, hey, come with me, like I, I don't know if I'm right, but here's where I'm heading, guys. Right? We don't always know. You got to be honest. We don't always know we're right. We get to a point from our seat where we've seen so many things, or we've got this feel, and we're like, okay, we're 70-80%, like this is direction. But man, if they're not hearing that, at least hearing that, if just think about if your people are nervous and scared, and then they don't see from you. And that makes them even more like, okay, something's going on here. Like you can't do that. I think you've got to have this transparency. And even if times are bad, guys, times are bad. Yeah, like we're not hiding from it. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. We got to help you. Here's what we're doing from corporate. Here's how we're going to help you as a P&L branch or whatever. We're moving forward. Okay. And it's going to be steps. Okay. There's going to be tranches. This quarter is going to be this quarter. Like it's going to be hard. Like we're not going to tell you it's not. This quarter is going to be hard. And next quarter is going to get easier. And guess what? I see you in 6 months or 8 months or 9 months. I see you at least. You're the drop has stopped, right? You're not free falling anymore. You got a base, and I see you growing off that base. And now's the time in the worst part of any market. If you can get through this, if you can learn, if you can grab more referral partners, even though you may not be getting the business out there because it's a little closed down, but if you're out there building your base at that moment when everything's falling and you're out there taking over market share, that market share may not be here today, right? The inventory's not there, rates are still high. But man, when the crack comes and the rates fall just a little bit or inventory goes up, guess where you're at? You're 10 steps ahead of everyone else. Yeah, was that hard? Life's not easy. Was that like, yeah, it's hard, but in those hard moments, what you get and the work you put in and you're here, you look back on that and said, damn, it was hard, but damn it, I did like I put in the time. I kept positive. Your referral partners want to see you and want, they want you to, be present. You just got to be, you go in with this positive notion. We get pockets in our industry every 3, 5 years, declines and ups and downs and valleys. Everybody rocks in an upcline.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
2020 came in. We couldn't even close. We couldn't even close as many. We couldn't close the amount of loans that were coming in. Nobody did anything special. The market handed it to us. I told my staff last year, I don't want the rates to drop at all. Everyone's looking at me like, what? I go, I don't want the rates to drop at all. I want to get really good right now. I want to get
That's
efficient. I want you guys to now like really zone in on your department, key areas. How do you reach out to whomever you need to reach out to in the company? Let them know you're there. Donnie, I was praying. This is
it's the
weird.
title of your new book, Jeremy.
I was
Good now.
praying that this thing was not going to I was praying the market wasn't going to give us this relief. I was praying we were going to find the relief. We were going to build the solid base. So when the market changed and the market starts, lower rates, more inventory and this and the other, yeah, now we're at 10x instead of 2x and the market making us look good.
Yeah,
The market can make you look good.
sure can.
I'm trying to get everybody to start feeling good right now.
I love there's something that happens, and really what we're looking at is like we're looking at the atomic structure of the human heart. And someone is either going to have fear and they're going to be scattered, or they're going to find confidence. And the reality is that if we're not acting, if we're not moving, like there's nothing that can happen. Like you can't steer a parked car. But being able to narrate, and I'm hearing you narrate like to your people. If you're a leader, guys, you got to find a way to narrate. We got to find a way to be real. Transparency is a part of it. We don't hide. And just like a good market, like doesn't show you who's really good at what they're doing, it doesn't show you who's good at leading either. But can you lead whenever things are going the opposite way? Like what does that do? How do you narrate? How do you move? And Jeremy, you've taken us into the overtime hours here. We're short and succinct. I want to know if Jeremy, you've done a really good job at helping your people find their flow. There's some people you unlock their genius, their talent to go solve their problems in unique ways. It might not be scalable for other people to do, but if you were to leave us as leaders ways where we could help our people to enhance, and utilize, put to practice their unique genius and find their flow,
Simple.
What would
It
you do?
is, it's so simple. You audit your day, you audit your calendar, you audit every single thing you're doing for a period of 2 weeks. And you figure out what what you're doing in a day, what mind, what flow that's in. So for me, for instance, I looked at mine. I was in I was in with the executive accounting group. So I'm in P&Ls, I'm in profitability, I'm in anything with that. But those were mixed in. I had P&L, I had sales, I had marketing, I had profitability one day, and then I had sales again. And so my flow, because those are different mindsets. Johnny, you know, like this is like my energy
Hmm.
comes from this
Hmm.
selling, marketing. And so I lined up my day. I got with my assistant. I said, "This is garbage. I want to. I want my days to flow." So I put them in flow, and I sat there and I realized I'm in meetings that I don't need to be in. But I don't need to be in these meetings. I need others to be in these meetings. If I'm really needed, they'll let me know. So I'm now constantly working in my 20%. So when I have people audit their days, I actually have them audit what they're doing in that time.
And as a
Is
leader, you're not afraid that they're gonna like get rid of the stuff they're supposed to be doing.
no,
You're give them
I want
permission.
no, I want them to clear it. I want them to say, and I did this with several people, and one of my guys, Martin, just took over. With he had already changed his flow from our first meeting to the next time he came in. And I had to tweak a couple things because my goal was to give him back one day of his work week. I said, what if you could have 4-day work week and Friday was yours? And I gave you back 20% of your like go out to lunch with your wife, do this, or take your flow on the board and get your ideas out. And Donnie, we completed that in a month. And you can hear from your leaders where they want to be in. Oh man, I was redoing a file. I had to get in, underwriter did this and I had to rework it. I'm like, Martin, you're you're the manager. Don't you have somebody on your staff? And he's like, I do. And I go, give them permission to do it. So everything he was telling me, I'm like, that's an 80%. Anybody can do that. Not anybody, not you. I want you to find where your 20% is. And when you start staying in your 20% and you give up all those things, yes, you can do, and yes, you're really good at, but guess what? Those are so easy. You do it because it's so easy. Get to your 20%. So then you
Genius.
get into what should be in your 20%, right? Now you
Yeah.
start saying, hey, where am I
Yeah.
genius?
Yep.
Where am I made for? And I'm going to tell you guys, if you guys can help yourselves get there first, there's 3 awesome books to read. Who Not How, Gaining Gap, and 10X is Easier than 2X. Phenom- Phenomenal books. All my leadership team read it. And then I would read Buy Back Your Time by
Buy
Dan
back your
Martell.
time. Yeah.
I'm telling you, everything changed. I realized what I was actually doing. I was doing a lot of those things, but now there was purpose behind it because you got reinforced for what
Yeah.
these authors were telling you.
I
That's what I
love
would
it.
say. Get them in their flow. I would tell them to audit their time, really, really dig deep and put on their calendar what needs to be on their calendar to get them out of that 80% just going around in a circle. Get them out and into their
It,
20% genius.
it's amazing what happens when you allow people to tap into what they're made for instead of like, oh, your job title is this, and you set them up for success.
Most importantly, when they get out of their 80 and they let their team work on that 80 and they start giving permission to their team to work on that, they say, well, Jason's not doing that. It's my responsibility now. And he's giving me permission. Oh, dude, wait till you see what they do.
Oh yeah, you
Wait till you
unleash.
see what those people do instead of waiting, going, yes, what do I need? Like, I'm waiting. No, you're letting them, you're giving them permission. And now all of a sudden, you may get 1 or 2 problems come back, but man, when they make an error or two and they realize, they fix, it's gone. So that whole change in the way you lead and in the way you let go and give permission was a huge deal for us. And I'm in my mentoring, Donnie, I take everyone through this process. And to your point, maybe some have a team of 5, maybe some have a team of 100. So
Hmm.
they're in different
Different levels.
stages
Yeah,
of it.
I love it. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna end it here, Jeremy. But listen, you have been absolutely a catalyst for people here. You have been permission. You have been someone that I think is you've brought the spark to us. And if someone wants to find that big old wide open door, I know they're not in if they're not in their family, but where can they find you? So we're not gonna give them your cell number like we do to everyone in your company. But if they want to reach out to you because they just like the way that you see things, Jeremy, where
Give
can they find
myself
you?
my cell phone number. I don't care.
Woo. Okay.
I'm
All
being
right.
honest. Text me because if you're trying to call any unknown number, it's going to be blocked. But I don't care. Text me.
All
Uh,
right.
it's fine. So Donnie, yeah, you can share that. Uh, uh, look, what's exciting about me giving my number out is what I'm going to learn from them. I mean, it's like I'm going to be like, wait a minute. What do you do? How do you do it? I'm just, I start getting a little bit insight of maybe a different process or whatever it is, or maybe they're stuck. And I say 4 or 5 sentences, and okay, like I was,
You totally.
I just needed to be like, that you just needed to be kind of like pushed off. That the little snowball
Uh,
just needs to be,
all right.
pushed.
Final thing. Explain this little guy here, what this means in your life, because we picture some people were asking about it. I'll share your number, and wow, that's super generous. Yep.
And so I realize is, and what Donnie's brought out of me and make me realize is, um, you know, I'm this spark, this nucleus, and I got all of these protons and neurons like roaming around me. And my job is just to keep throwing ideas out there. Pinball. I'm just bouncing an idea out there. I'm bouncing a thought. I'm bouncing a reset. I see them stuck or something. Little pop. They're in a flow that I can see is not their flow, and I see them caught there. And I ask them, why are you like, what's going on? Why are you in the flow? Oh, this is going on. Okay. Well, how do we solve it? Let's just talk through it. And this here is just that. Or I've got an idea in the business, I bring it back to my team, and I say, guys, I think something can work. Run with it. I'm not leading it. I'm not in charge of it. I'll orchestrate just to be over it. But man, putting my whole team together and letting them all figure it out and build it themselves, that's incredible. Instead of just having 4 top leaders talk about it and then push it down next level and push it down next level and push it down next level, you bring everybody who's involved in it, let them all speak to it. Who cares what level they're at? Who cares? Like,
Dude.
let them hear it because they're going to have more information and a better way of doing it than somebody who's just up here managing it and just seeing it from top. So,
Leader lesson.
Donnie,
Be
this has been
open.
fun. Donnie,
Dude,
this thing here has been fun. Thank you so much.
you've brought the thunder today, and I'm just going to drop it. I guess you don't know your own mobile number, but I do. It's 216-233-5640. I'm going to leave it out there one time. Shoot Jeremy a text because he doesn't take your call. This, Jeremy, absolutely sparks confidence. It's interesting, by the way, confidence comes from faith within. It's like you believe in something, you sparked confidence. Thanks for bringing the confidence in us today, my friend. And we'll catch you on the flip
Appreciate
side.
you as
Thanks.
always. I appreciate you being there as not only a mentor and a coach, but a friend. And I'm humbled to be a part of your journey. So thank you. Thank you for bringing me on the show. This is only the second time I've ever done, I don't know, podcasts. I did my first one 2 weeks ago, so I'm going to get used to this. So, I got to get out there, I guess.
Thanks for crushing it. Hey, any podcast hosts out there? Jeremy is ready to jump on your podcast. It sounds like he's ready to talk. So, forest fire is burning,
My
missiles are
candle's out.
dropping,
My candle ends
and
right at this moment. Perfect.
Jeremy has courage. We appreciate you, brother. We'll see you on the flip side.
Hey, thanks for the prayers. Thank you for the prayers. Appreciate it, guys. Keep sending them to everyone out there. Just for everybody in the Middle East and who's going through this, prayers are needed for everyone out there. So thanks for that.
Absolutely.